All right, guys, Robert here, BP News Channel. I just wanted to talk to you about this dream that I had the other day that I think just came to pass. I was just watching a call for an uprising. By the way, if you don't know who A Call for an Uprising is, he just got his channel back. He had 500,000+ subscribers that was just given back to him by YouTube. A lot of channels are coming back online. He talks all about that. I'm going to talk about A Call for an Uprising on the live stream tonight. But I wanted to do this little clip here really quickly to show you exactly what the dream was and how it came to pass during this particular event that was in Egypt, right when Trump was there getting his peace deal signed with the Egyptians as well. And this happened right at the Pyramid of Giza, all with Illuminati symbolism all over the place. It's just crazy. They even got the pillars. Now, in the dream that I had about Kim Clement and Amanda Grace, I saw two pillars. And this was only about 3 or 4 days ago, right? This dream. You can see it right there on the channel, on my main channel. You'll see that the title of it is called Trump's Arch of Triumph. And it's, I believe, depicted after the Arch of Titus, which also symbolizes the capture and the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. And they put all this symbolism on that arch. But it's very similar to the one that Trump wants to build right there in D.C. And I think it symbolizes his idea and his plan to conquer really even Israel itself. He's playing both sides, but I think that he's the guy that's going to bring about prophecy in many ways. This is my thought. But anyway, this dream, I wanted to chronicle this dream because in the dream I talk about, and I'll show you right here, this is what I said. Morning. Had another sleepless night. I finally got to sleep early this morning. But I woke up again with another dream. In this dream, I saw a portal with two columns, which to me look like this arch. This arch that Trump is rebuilding or is going to build? I guess it's like an Arch of Triumph, they call it, or the Arch of Trump. They're going to be doing this right there by the Lincoln Memorial. They have it all set up. They got mocked it up in a mock, however they do it with the smaller version of it to show what it's going to look like. And this arch, is basically patterned after the one in Paris. It also looks like the Arch of Titus, very similar. And in this dream, I saw these two pillars. And out of this one pillar was this message that was coming down. And I heard Kim Clement's voice. And there's a lot more that I could get into about Kim Clement, a little background and how he was influencing the Reawaken American tour and really was the base of what really ushered Trump back into office, I think, and prophesied many of these things that were happening politically here in America. Many would say it's God. It's God, right? They say it's God that's doing this. Now, God allows it. God allows a lot of things. God allowed the crucifixion. God allowed Israel to go into bondage. God allowed Pharaoh to, resist and to reject God's will. So just because something happens and it's allowed, and you can't say that it's God's will, but God allowed it. How you respond to what God allows depends on whether or not you're in God's will, right? Well, anyways, so Kim Clement was definitely a very big influence. And in this dream, I heard his voice coming down out of one of the pillars. But it was very, very dark and demonic sounding. And then I saw Amanda Grace, who I believe is very much like the oracles of Delphi. She's ecstatically prophesying political prophecy ad nauseum. And if you don't know what the Oracle of Delphi was, they basically were priestesses that would speak prophecies ecstatically. And ultimately, the priesthood would interpret and bring these prophecies to the common adherent or the common people that would be consulting for their daily needs or their daily aspirations. They needed in inspiration, and they needed to hear from the gods. And they would go and consult the oracles at Delphi. And they were all women. Now, the priests weren't, but I would say that they're very much like the prophets of Baal. The prophets of Baal take their cue from the goddess, and she was also prophesied for Apollo. Really, the oracle at Delphi prophesied Apollo. And if you know anything about Apollo and the background of what's going on here, you'll understand that Donald Trump is after the order of Apollo. He even has Apollo gods in his penthouse. He's got Apollo fresco on his ceiling. He's got another Apollo representation. He's got a lot of Greek gods in his. I think he's got Eros in there as well, and a statue of Eros, and not a whole lot about Jesus or Christianity, but a lot of Roman and Greek gods and goddesses, all gold. Everything. Apollo was also the golden god, or the god of war. He was also a god of war. He was a god of forces. He was a god of forces, but he was also a god that brought forth the light. Right? He was ultimately what the Bible calls Lucifer. I think he represents Lucifer himself, Apollo. So you've got these, and here is what happened yesterday at the pyramids during this demonic festival, which I believe was very symbolic. If you go back and listen to my main live stream channel description of what I believe took place there, this was a big ritual that was ushering in the beast and its new order that's coming upon the whole world. And this is all preceded by peace and security, right? Now, here is the clip of the actual event that shows the two pillars. And this is all in connection with the whore that rides the political beast, which I believe to be the church that has fallen or that is under a spell of a false spirit that's prophesying, just like I talked about in this video, the Arch of Triumph, where I said that Amanda Grace and Kim Clement is dead, but he was sending a message down one of the columns. And there are two columns I saw. One of the columns had like electricity going down it, and he was speaking into this column. And Amanda Grace was the other column, and she was the oracle, very much like the Oracle of Delphi. And she was bringing forth these prophecies. And if you know anything about the oracles, you know that the priesthood would take, just like Jezebel would be the head, and then you'd have all the priests that would take the messages from Jezebel, the prophets of Baal, and they would bring them forth, right? And this is exactly what the Oracle of Delphi did. And so this is what I believe Amanda Grace is doing. She's prophesying in the name of the Lord, but she's really prophesying political messages that are demonically charged and are symbolic of these two pillars. And she's getting them from the mantle that she received from Kim Clement. And if you don't know and haven't researched Kim Clement, he's the main prophet of the whole Trump revival amongst Christians, both Protestant, both charismatic and even evangelical, with the whole Reawaken American tour. He's like their main prophet. He was the main prophet of both TBN Network and God TV. He was prophesying all these things that supposedly came to pass. He was in a remote viewing program with the actual government itself. They basically brought him on board with Stargate. His daughter details this all in video. I have it all on video where she admits he was in the Stargate program all the way up until his death in late 2015, I think it was, or was it late 2016, right before the election win of Donald Trump. 10 days before Donald Trump won the election, he died, right? And he was in a paralyzed situation with his brain tumor. She believes that it had some connection, his death, to him trying to get out of the Stargate program And what she believes, and she implies that, and I have the clip if you want to see it. It's on my Telegram page. You can go check it out or do a search on Kim Clement, Stargate. You should be able to find it there. But this is all in connection with what's happening spiritually behind the scenes. And I want to try to tie the pieces together for everybody on this. But here it is. Check this out. I'm going to take the music down so you can't actually hear it because it might be copyrighted. But here you got, now these are the two pillars that connect to the main two pillars right here. And this is all in masonry in the Temple of Solomon. This is all hearkening back to a lot of the Egyptian symbolism that Masonic temples have within their rituals that they use. They go all the way back to Solomon. But here's these two pillars here are not the ones I'm talking about. This is actually the connection to the two main pillars. This is the guy that's actually doing the DJ, and I'll scoot ahead if you want to see the actual lightning coming down from. Well, this is actually just showing you the two pillars. Okay, so here's the two pillars. This doesn't actually show you the lightning. This is the lightning one here. This is what I dreamt about. I saw these two pillars, and Kim Clement's demonic voice was coming through like lightning through one of the pillars. And then Amanda Grace was also channeling this message, and it was coinciding. And look at what just happened. Tell me this isn't bizarre. This was right on the day of Donald Trump. Now look, I'm going to turn this down so you can't hear the music, but this is a footage from the crowd. You see the lightning coming out of the pillars? Look at the pillars right down in the below. You'll see lightning coming down out of the pillars, down through the pillars. Watch. Right. It should be coming up right now. Did I miss it? Okay, here we go. See the lightning coming down out of the pillars? That's what I saw. I saw lightning coming down from the pillars, and this message was being channeled through the pillars. That's exactly what I saw in my dream. But the Lord was showing me in a dream that this is all connected to the whole movement of MAGA in the conservative wing of the church, and how Kim Clement said that he was the head of this. Before he died, he said there's video of him talking about how he would raise his hands and everybody behind him would raise his hands, and he would shout, and then he looked behind and everybody would shout. He said they were all one. They were all one, and they were following him, and he was the head. He was the tip of the movement. And this is exactly what happened with the Reawaken Tour. He became their prophet. He became their icon. If you go to the Reawaken Tour page, you'll see his picture at the top, kind of in a silhouette, overlooking the whole movement. And this was what really brought in all the conservatives, all the influencers came in behind that. I was even invited to go twice, and I didn't go. Even talked to Clay Clark. Clay Clark was the guy that they said was prophesied by Kim Clement when they said, Mr. Clark, remember when he gave that prophecy of Donald and Mr. Clark, you guys love the flag. This was a prophecy going all the way back supposedly to 2014 of Kim Clement. Now I have a whole deep dive on all that whole topic. And I chronicled this all the way back in 2016, right as Trump was coming in, and our channel was Trumpet News Channel. We were the biggest channel on YouTube, even bigger than RSBN at the time, because RSBN was just starting out. And we were always on top. Steve Lookner was the host at the time, and he was angry and jealous and even attacking us on the main program, saying that we were trolls, and we had more views than RSBN. We were up at the top, and we were getting up to 1 million views a day. That was during the 2016 election cycle that brought in Trump into office. So that was right in the beginning. We were right there in the beginning of all of this, and I was chronicling everything that had to do with Kim Clement, because I saw the connections to what he was saying, and I warned everybody. I said there might be a need for discernment here, because even if a prophet, it says in Deuteronomy, tells you something that does come to pass, because they warned about the false prophets, and then they said, even if a prophet comes to you and tells you things that are actually happening and performs miracles, but teaches you to obey other gods, the Lord your God is sending that prophet to test you to see whether or not you truly love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And so I said, you got to be careful with this, because even though it's accurate, I said I needed to warn, because he was teaching a prosperity gospel, a dominion now theology, and this kingdom now, the seven mountain mandate. Now he's very close. He was very close with Lance Wallnew, and they were buddies. And where did the seven mountain mandate come from? Lance Wallnew. And who wrote the book on Trump, saying the chaos candidate, that Trump would come in to bring chaos? Lance Wallnew. And then guess what? Marina Abramovich, the head witch that's probably like a Jezebel. She's got all these people that she talks to, and she said that she had the collective dreaming of the shamans, and they told her when they came out of their collective dreaming that Trump was a chaos president that would bring order to the world out of chaos. They said he was going to awaken the whole world. Not just America. He was going to awaken the whole world, and their demonic powers and principalities, when they were all in their dream state, they would fast and pray. These are shamans that told her this. She recounted it on 2 different occasions. She said they told her, the spirits told her that, or told the shamans that Trump would awaken the world with peace, by chaos, but that he would come to awaken the world to a new order. Don't you think that's kind of weird? All right, anyways, there's a lot more I got. This is just a little smidgen. So if you want to know more, make sure you subscribe to our channel and just start watching all our videos and catch us on the lives. And also go subscribe to A Call for an Uprising. Very good channel. I recommend him. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.